Imagine being a kid in the US in the 80s or 90s and opening your lunchbox at school. There it was, the shiny silver pouch that made you instantly cooler than everyone else at the table. Capri Sun, with its bendy straw taped neatly to the front. It wasn't just a juice drink, it was a status symbol. Kids would trade cookies, chips, and even sandwiches just for one pouch. And if you were really skilled, you could stab that straw into the tiny dot without spilling juice everywhere. A rite of passage that felt like a superpower. Fast forward to today, and Capri Sun is still everywhere: soccer games, family road trips, school lunches, and even packed coolers at summer camp. More than 6 billion pouches are made every year, and Americans alone sip their way through about 1.2 billion annually. That's enough juice to fill over 150 Olympic-sized swimming pools. It's a staggering number, but most people never stop to think about how much technology, science, careful planning goes into making every one of those silver pouches taste exactly the same. Capri Sun started not in the US, but in Germany back in 1969. At the same time, humanity was reaching for the moon. A German company called Wild was coming up with a different kind of futuristic breakthrough juice in a flexible pouch. Instead of heavy glass bottles or clunky cans, they created something lightweight, portable, and fun to squeeze. The name, inspired by the Italian island of Capri, gave it a refreshing, vacation-like feel, even if kids in American schoolyards weren't thinking about Mediterranean beaches. By the time it landed in the US in the 1980s, Capri Sun had already gained momentum in Europe. Here, it became a cultural icon. The commercials showed kids turning into liquid silver and zipping across the screen like juice-powered superheroes. Kids believed drinking Capri Sun gave them an edge, maybe even magical powers. And even as adults, there's something nostalgic about flattening that empty pouch until it's paper thin, squeezing out every last drop like you did back in grade school. But beyond the playground memories, Capri Sun is the result of an incredible factory process. Every pouch starts with fruit grown on farms all over the world. Apples, oranges, grapes, and tropical fruits are harvested, pressed, and turned into concentrated juice. By removing water, the juice becomes easier to ship and store, its volume shrinking 4 to 6 times while locking in flavor and nutrients. Each batch is carefully tested for sweetness, acidity, and aroma before it even enters the blending tanks. The water that makes up most of the drink also goes through a rigorous purification process: filtered, carbon cleaned, treated with reverse osmosis, and sterilized with UV light. Since Capri Sun doesn't rely on artificial preservatives, water quality has to be perfect. Every ingredient is scrutinized, so the end result is exactly what people expect when they poke that straw through the pouch. Inside the factory, massive stainless steel tanks mix the concentrates, purified water, and natural flavors with precise accuracy. Computers measure every ounce to guarantee consistency, while sensors monitor sweetness, color, and pH levels. Because fruit crops can vary depending on weather or growing region, minor adjustments are often made, so the juice always tastes the same. To keep it safe without preservatives, Capri Sun relies on flash pasteurization, heating the juice to about minus 180 degrees Fahrenheit for just seconds before rapidly cooling it again. This quick process kills harmful bacteria, but preserves the natural fruity taste. From there, the juice rests in sterile storage tanks until it's ready for packaging. To prevent oxidation, nitrogen is sometimes added to keep flavors bright and fresh. Meanwhile, in another part of the factory, the famous silver pouches are being made. They're crafted from multiple layers of plastic, aluminum foil, and polyester, designed to block air, light, and UV rays. This barrier is what allows Capri Sun to last months without preservatives. Machines churn out hundreds of pouches every minute, folding and heat-sealing the edges while laser sensors check for precision. The pouches are sterilized with steam and UV light before filling, and random samples are tested for leaks and durability. Engineers even drop test and overfill them to make sure they won't burst on their way to your pantry. Only after passing these stress tests do the pouches head to the filling line, where jets pump in the juice in a sealed, sterile environment. The entire area is filtered to keep out dust or germs, and every pouch is carefully sealed shut with heat and pressure, creating that airtight lock that keeps the juice fresh. Of course, Capri Sun wouldn't be complete without its iconic straw. In the US, kids know the struggle of aiming just right to puncture the tiny foil without causing a sticky explosion. Each straw is attached to the pouch by robotic arms with just the right amount of adhesive, strong enough to survive shipping, but easy enough to peel off. In recent years, Capri Sun has started switching to eco-friendly paper straws, a move toward sustainability that comes with its own challenges. The company is also experimenting with biodegradable materials to cut down on plastic waste, showing how even a children's juice drink is adapting to the environmental expectations of today's consumers. After straws are attached, pouches are boxed into packs of 10, 20, or even larger family-size bundles. Robots stack and seal the boxes using recycled cardboard, printing them with bright colors, nutrition facts, and barcodes for inventory tracking. Every box is weighed, scanned, and coded with expiration dates before being palletized, shrink, wrapped, and shipped to stores across the U.S. Some head straight to supermarkets, while others are stored in temperature-controlled warehouses until delivery. From the farm to your fridge, every step is carefully designed to keep that familiar Capri Sun taste intact. But Capri Sun isn't the only product that Americans have a nostalgic obsession with. If Capri Sun owns lunchtime, bacon owns breakfast. In fact, the U.S. eats over 2 billion pounds of bacon every year. That's nearly 6 million pounds every single day. This salty, smoky strip of pork belly has been loved for centuries. The story of bacon stretches back to ancient China, around 1500 BC, when pork was first cured with salt to make it last longer. The Romans adopted their own version called patasso. And by the Middle Ages, bacon had become such a prized food in England that entire towns held contests, where men could win a side of bacon for proving they hadn't argued with their wives for a year. That's where the phrase, bringing home the bacon, actually comes from. By the time it crossed the Atlantic, bacon was already a staple. But in America, it became something even bigger part of the cultural fabric. Today, bacon isn't just for breakfast. You'll find it in burgers, salads, donuts, cocktails, and even novelty items like bacon-flavored toothpaste or bacon-scented soap. Some people throw bacon-themed weddings, while others wrap entire Thanksgiving turkeys in it. It's not just food, it's an obsession. But behind the indulgence is a massive system of farming, processing, and technology that brings those crispy strips to the table. Pigs are raised on carefully monitored diets, often a mix of corn and soybeans balanced with vitamins to produce the right marbling of fat and meat. Farmers control everything from genetics to feed to make sure the pork bellies are perfect for bacon. Once pigs reach the right weight, around 250 pounds, they're sent to USDA-approved facilities where every step of processing is regulated for safety and quality. Stress levels during transport are minimized, because even small factors can affect the texture of the meat. Inside the plant, pork bellies are inspected, trimmed, and cured with salt, sugar, and sometimes spices before being smoked to develop that signature flavor. Different woods like hickory, applewood, or maple are used to give bacon distinct tastes that Americans can instantly recognize. The bellies are then chilled, sliced into thin strips with precision machines, and packaged under vacuum-sealed plastic to lock in freshness. Just like Capri Sun, every step is designed for consistency, safety, and flavor, making sure that whether you buy it in New York or California, your bacon tastes the way you expect. What ties these two very different foods together is how deeply They're woven into American culture. Capri Sun represents childhood nostalgia and playful convenience, while bacon represents comfort, indulgence, and tradition. Both are the result of global farming, advanced manufacturing, and strict quality control. And both remind us that behind every snack or meal we casually enjoy is an incredible chain of people, machines, and science working together to make it possible. From a kid's juice pouch to America's favorite breakfast meat, these foods aren't just products. They're symbols of culture, history, and the way modern technology keeps us connected to the simple pleasures we crave. Whether it's flattening a silver pouch at the lunch table or smelling bacon crisping in the pan on a Sunday morning, these moments stick with us. They aren't just about what we eat, but about the memories and feelings that come with it. And that's why, even with billions made every year, Capri Sun and bacon never lose their magic. If you've ever walked down the grocery aisle and tossed a pack of bacon into your cart or poured a spoonful of sugar into your morning coffee without thinking twice, you're not alone. These foods are so common in American kitchens that we rarely stop to consider the massive amount of science, precision, and hard work that goes into making them. Behind every crispy slice of bacon sizzling in a skillet and every bag of sugar waiting in your pantry lies a fascinating journey that begins on farms, moves through enormous factories, and relies on a mix of tradition and modern technology. What makes this story so interesting is how old methods like curing, smoking, and crystallizing have been refined over the centuries to fit into today's high-speed, large-scale production systems. If you've ever wondered how a pig becomes bacon, or how stalks of cane and rows of sugar beets turn into those sparkling white crystals, this deep dive is going to take you through the entire process, step by step. It all begins in pork processing, plants where animals are handled with strict regulations to ensure both safety and humane treatment. The slaughtering process is designed to be fast, controlled, and above all, to minimize suffering. Factories use one of 3 approved methods: selectric, stunning CO2 gas, or a captive bolt to render pigs unconscious before any other step begins. CO2 is often favored in large-scale operations because it reduces stress, which not only matters ethically but also improves the quality of the final meat. Once the animal is unconscious, workers quickly bleed it by cutting the main neck. Veins, an essential step that prevents spoilage and helps maintain freshness. The carcass is then lowered into a hot water bath between 140 and 150 degrees Fahrenheit, loosening the hair so it can be mechanically scraped away. What follows is a brief singeing and final cleaning, leaving the skin smooth and free of impurities. From here, evisceration takes place, where internal organs are carefully removed and inspected. USDA inspectors are present throughout the process, checking for any signs of disease or contamination, because even a small oversight can compromise food safety. Only carcasses that meet strict health and safety standards move forward. Once cleaned, they are rapidly chilled in massive refrigerators kept below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. This chilling step firms up the meat, making it easier to cut later while also slowing down bacterial growth. At this stage, skilled butchers break down each pig into primal cuts such as loins, shoulders, and hams. Among the most prized parts is the pork belly, the fatty, marbled section destined to become bacon. Bacon begins its transformation with trimming, where the belly is shaped and excess skin removed. Some brands leave more fat for added flavor, while others trim it leaner to appeal to different customers. Consistency is key. The belly must have even thickness and balanced fat distribution to ensure proper curing and smoking. High-end producers often use heritage breeds or pigs raised on special diets, giving their bacon unique flavor profiles that stand out from mass-market products. The next stage, curing, is the magical step that turns plain pork into bacon. Curing is a preservation method, but also a flavor powerhouse. Without it, bacon would simply be salted pork that spoils quickly and lacks its distinctive taste. The mixture usually includes salt, sugar, and sodium nitrite, the ingredient responsible for bacon's rosy pink color and its protection. Against harmful bacteria, there are two main curing techniques, each creating a very different product. Wet curing, sometimes called injection curing, is the dominant method in commercial production. Using large machines, the curing solution of water, salt, sugar, nitrites, and often flavorings like maple or black pepper is injected into the pork belly. It's quick, taking just hours or a few days, making it ideal for mass production. Dry curing, in contrast, is the old world style where the cure is rubbed directly into the meat. This process takes anywhere from 5 to 14 days and develops a far richer, more complex flavor. Because it's slow and labor-intensive, dry-cured bacon is usually sold at a premium and sought out by food lovers who value depth of flavor and artisanal quality. After curing, the bellies rest, so the flavors fully penetrate the meat. Many specialty producers experiment with sea salt, Himalayan pink salt, or even organic sugar to create distinctive products for a growing market of consumers who value natural commensal. Minimally processed foods, once the curing is complete, the pork moves to smoking, the step that gives bacon its unmistakable aroma and taste. In the past, smoking was essential for preservation, but today it's primarily done for flavor. The bellies are rinsed to remove excess cure, then placed on racks inside enormous industrial smokehouses where the temperature ranges between 120 and 160 degrees Fahrenheit. This slow process infuses the meat with smoky richness without overcooking. Depending on the brand, bacon may be smoked for just a few hours or as long as 24, with longer times resulting in bolder flavors. The type of wood used plays a big role. Hickory imparts the strong, slightly sweet flavor most Americans associate with classic bacon, while applewood and cherrywood give lighter, fruitier notes. Some mass-market brands skip real wood altogether and opt for liquid smoke, which is faster and cheaper. Though it lacks the authenticity and depth of flavor true smoking delivers. After smoking, the bacon is chilled once again, this time to about 28 to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. This chilling firms up the fat and ensures the meat slices cleanly without smearing. Industrial slicers are capable of producing thousands of slices per minute, but they only work properly if the meat is at the right temperature. At this stage, bacon can be sliced into a variety of cuts to match different customer preferences. Thin, standard slices cook quickly and are common in grocery stores. Thick-cut slices, about 50% thicker, offer a meatier bite. Center-cut bacon trims away more fat and keeps only the leanest portion of the belly. For chefs and butchers, slab bacon and sliced allows full flexibility. Even the scraps don't go to waste. Irregular slices are repurposed as bacon bits for salads, fast food toppings, and pre-packaged meals. Once sliced, bacon is portioned and packaged with precision. The most common method is vacuum sealing, which removes oxygen to prevent spoilage and rancidity while locking in flavor. This airtight packaging also allows bacon to last longer in stores and at home. Premium brands sometimes use modified atmosphere packaging, replacing oxygen with carbon dioxide and nitrogen, which preserves freshness even without artificial preservatives. Convenient resealable packs are also popular, allowing consumers to use only what they need without waste. Every package must display USDA-approved labels detailing the curing process, smoking method, and ingredients used. Many companies now emphasize no added nitrites or uncured labels to appeal to health-conscious shoppers seeking natural options. After packaging, bacon is stored in refrigerated warehouses until it's shipped to supermarkets, restaurants, and ultimately ends up sizzling in kitchens across America, just like bacon. Sugar is another ingredient we take for granted but rely on daily. It's in our coffee, our sodas, our baked goods, and nearly every processed food on store shelves. Globally, people consume more than 180 million tons of sugar each year, making it one of the most important food products on Earth. What's fascinating is that almost all of this sugar comes from just two crops: sugarcane, which thrives in warm climates like Brazil, India, and the southern U.S., and sugar beets, which grow better in cooler regions like Europe, Russia, and parts of America's Midwest. The journey from field to kitchen is an enormous undertaking that requires careful timing, massive machinery, and non-stop coordination. Sugarcane grows up to 15 feet tall and must be harvested quickly once ripe, because it deteriorates rapidly. Farmers cut it either by hand with machetes or with machines that can handle vast fields at once. The cane is transported immediately to nearby mills to be crushed before the sugar content drops. Sugar beets, on the other hand, are hardier and can withstand longer transport. Harvested in late fall, they are dug from the soil with specialized equipment, cleaned thoroughly, and delivered to factories within about 48 hours. Once inside, both cane and beets are processed to extract their juice, which contains the sucrose we recognize as sugar. Cane is crushed in giant rollers to squeeze out juice, while beets are sliced into thin chips and soaked in hot water through a process called diffusion. The raw juice from either crop contains not only sugar but also plant fibers, dirt, and proteins. Purification begins with clarification, where lime and sometimes phosphoric acid are added to make impurities clump together so they can be filtered out. The clarified juice then undergoes additional settling and filtration steps until it's clean enough to proceed. At this point, the juice is evaporated under vacuum to remove water and form a thick syrup. This syrup is boiled in special pans where crystallization begins. To encourage uniform crystals, tiny seed crystals are added, and the mixture is carefully cooled. The sugar crystals that form are spun in centrifuges to separate them from molasses. This produces raw sugar, which still contains some impurities and molasses residue. Drying comes next, as the sugar crystals must be reduced to just the right moisture level to prevent clumping and spoilage. Hot air dryers tumble the sugar until it reaches about 0.1%. Moisture perfect for stability and easy handling. Once dried and cooled, raw sugar can be sold directly as brown sugar or further refined into the white sugar most Americans use daily. Refining involves washing the raw crystals and filtering them through activated carbon or bone char to remove remaining color and impurities. This ensures the sugar is bright white, neutral in flavor, and perfect for baking or sweetening drinks. Packaging sugar is as important as packaging bacon. Small retail bags for consumers and massive sacks for commercial buyers are all designed to keep sugar dry, pest-free, and easy to transport. Labels list not just nutritional information, but also the type of sugar, white, raw, or brown, and sometimes the origin, which matters more as consumers grow curious about sourcing and sustainability. Branding also plays a role with companies. Using packaging design to stand out in a crowded market, both bacon and sugar illustrate how everyday foods involve enormous industries working behind the scenes. From animal handling and USDA inspections to crystallization and industrial smokehouses, every step is designed to balance tradition with modern efficiency. The next time you enjoy crispy bacon at breakfast or stir sugar into your morning coffee, you'll know there's a remarkable story behind each bite one of farming, engineering, safety, and flavor. And if you think this process is fascinating, let us know what other factory secrets you'd like to see uncovered. After all, America's favorite foods don't just appear on store shelves by magic. They're the result of centuries of expertise, refined into today's high-tech, high-volume systems that keep our kitchens stocked and our taste buds happy.